Good morning, my name is Fran Varley and here is my ID to show you that I am who I say I am, and I'm going to do the role play for person-centered therapy, and this is my friend Alex Whippy and she has given permission to be in this role play today. Okay, thank you, we'll begin now. Good morning, Wade. I understand that you have a few concerns that you would like to talk to me about today. So whenever you're ready, I'm happy for you to voice these concerns that you would like to talk about.
Thanks, Fran. Yeah, I do have a few things I want to talk about. I don't really know where to begin.
Take your time. It's completely up to you where you begin.
Okay, well, I met this really nice woman, Tracy. We've been dating about 3 weeks now, but I'm so worried I'm going to ruin it with her. When we're together, I feel like I'm in the moment. I'm just thinking about her and I genuinely want to be with her, but as soon as the date ends, I start thinking about my ex, Sarah, again.
So you enjoy Tracy's company, but you still miss Sarah and think about her a lot. Is that right?
Yeah, I feel guilty even saying this. But Sarah and I were together 12 years. We went through a lot in that time. We bought a house, went overseas, had 2 kids. Sarah was my first girlfriend. 3 years on, and I think people would be surprised at how much I still think about it and want her back in my life.
You and Sarah went through a lot of significant life changes together. That's a pretty strong bond to have with someone.
Yeah, we did go through a lot together. I've had other girlfriends since, not as long of course, but when you've realised it wasn't going to work out and we cut ties and we've gone our separate ways, but it's so much harder to try and get over someone who is still in my life. You know, I mean, I see her, I talk to her every single day. There are always things to discuss, like who's going to pick up the kids or who's taking the kids overnight. It's just so hard.
Yes, Wade, I can imagine it must be a lot more difficult to get over someone that is still actually in your life. It must be harder to make a clean break.
Makes it so much harder. Looking back, I thought that Sarah and I would go the distance, and every time she comes back with the kids, I imagine she's going to walk in the door with her own bags and shout, "Honey, I'm home." I really think things could be different if she came back. At the time when it ended, we were going through some really stressful financial struggles. I know this stress was making me grumpy and hard to live with, but things have changed in my work now. You know, that financial stress is lifted, and I know that a lot of the problems at that time would never existed if we were together now.
So the reasons that led to your breakup you don't feel still exist. You imagine that Sarah is going to come back for good, and you have to see and speak to her every day. I can understand why it has been a struggle for you to move on.
I know, it sure has been. But I know that I have to stop feeling like this. I have to stop this fantasy world I'm living in. You see, Sarah got married 2 months ago. She is playing happy families now with Tony. I know that she's never coming back to me.
So does Sarah's marriage have any reason why you're here today? I think you said earlier that you were worried you were going to ruin it with Tracy. So that says to me that you really do want things to work out with her.
Yeah, like I said, I've had other girlfriends, but if I was honest, as long as Sarah was still single and I had that hope we might get back together. So I didn't really put in the effort with someone else to make it work. Now that Sarah's married, I feel it's time to get over her and really give another relationship a go.
I think it's great that you're able to acknowledge that you have a different attitude this time towards this relationship than what you've had in the past. I think that alone will make a difference in how this relationship develops.
Well, you know, Tracy deserves a nice guy that's going to put in the effort. I want to be able to be that man for her without all the comparisons in my head of Sarah wouldn't do that and Sarah would have done it that way. The bottom line is I don't want to be pining over my ex that is now someone else's wife.
Wade, I think you have managed to identify the problem. You want to get over your relationship with Sarah and be able to be fully present in your new relationship with Tracy so that you can give it the best chance of success. Is that how you see it too?
Yep, that about sums up this whole mess perfectly.
Okay. Well, I can see that we are almost out of time, but how about when you come back for your next appointment, we look at some practical things that you can put in place to help bring about some closure with Sarah and be able to give your new relationship the best chance possible.
That sounds great. I've been holding on to these feelings and living in the past for way too long.
Well, it's good that you can see that now. Thank you for being so open today, Wade. I'll see you next week. I look forward to hopefully hearing an update of how things are going with you and Tracy.
Thanks, Fran. I'll see you next week.
So now I'm going to do my reflection on the role play. So the first part of that reflection is evaluating your effectiveness in implementing the techniques of person-centered therapy. I believe I did well in implementing the techniques of person-centered therapy. When responding to Wade, I made sure I didn't paraphrase back to him, but rather to find the point of his message and give an empathic response. I tried to see the situation from his point of view, which was demonstrated when I said, "Yes, Wade, I can imagine it must be a lot more difficult to get over someone that you see that is still actually in your life." By allowing Wade to talk freely, without judgment, I am showing unconditional positive regard. This is really important as this is a topic that he probably hasn't had a chance to discuss in a while. The fact that he is still holding on to feelings for his ex 3 years on would suggest that they are not going to go away on their own. And it's important that he is given a safe, warm environment to open up and not feel judged. One of the ways that I showed congruence was by expressing a gut feeling to Wade. I did this when I asked him if the reason that he was here today was because of Sarah's marriage and that he was wanting to give his new relationship a chance. As for areas of improvement, I feel that overall the way for responding to a client in person-centered therapy is more challenging than a traditional style, as it requires speaking more in a more natural tone rather than just paraphrasing. The next part of my reflection is reflecting on the application and limitations of applying a person-centered therapy approach to address Wade's needs, issues and goals. I believe that person-centered therapy would be a good technique to use as an initial opportunity for Wade to express his feelings and experiences regarding his relationship ending and his desires to make a new relationship work. Person-centered therapy would also be good in that he would feel validated and understood in his current experience, and talking about this with a counsellor may be the first time that he has been able to openly discuss this relationship in quite a while. A limitation of person-centered therapy would be that it relies heavily on Wade being able to decide what is focused on and that he is capable of developing the skills to solve his own problems. At this point in Wade's life, he has made few steps to move on from the relationship that ended 3 years ago. And I would question how well he could implement this now without a strong counselling structure. I would like to see an integrated approach with cognitive behaviour therapy so that Wade can discuss his belief that a relationship with Sarah is the only relationship that will bring him happiness.